Guys, this is a video I am very, very excited to make, man. I want to make a video about Juventus, man. Obviously, it's probably the best one to do. We have a lot of crazy transfer rumors circling my club, man. You guys might know, man. If you guys are a little bit older, maybe like 20 plus years old, you guys would know Juve were in a lot of semifinals, finals for the UCL in the past, maybe like 15, 20 years, man. Obviously, Juve holding one of the worst records when it comes to UCL, most finals lost, man. Oh my day, that's all post about Buffon. 3 UCL finals lost, every single one. Prime AC Milan, prime Barca, prime Madrid, man. It's super unfortunate, but I think this is definitely a really fun video to make because I've been seeing a lot of crazy names pop up around my club. I want to see my club back at the top again, bro. I've been seeing, like, bro, I grew up with my team, you know, going into UCLs, going into semifinals, finals, we facing off against these crazy teams, you know, winning the league every single year. We have not won the league in like 5 years, man. It's absolutely diabolical. We went from crazy names, you know, Dybala, Pirlo, Vidal, Pogba, CR7, Higuain. Now we got Jegrova, Coop Miners, Kelly. What's going on here, man? So I think it's gonna be a fun video. If you guys do enjoy, drop a thumbs up, subscribe. I want to hear you guys' thoughts, what you guys think will happen in the market. It's gonna be very, very interesting, especially, you know, for me. I think this might be one of the craziest free transfer markets I've seen in a long time. You see some big names like Lewandowski, Alisson, Bernardo Silva. First off, 3 super insane players, absolute legends of the game. Even players like Goretzka, Kimmich, I think are also leaving Bayern. So these guys are all on the radar. Let's get right into it. I definitely want to see, you know, I wanted you guys to maybe want to see my thoughts as a Juventus fan, what I think is definitely possible. Let's get right into it. Guys, first off, I'm going to start off with the names on the list here on the right below my camera. You guys see right off the rip, Lewandowski, guys. Lewandowski, for me, I also saw a little bit on Twitter. I think it was a Barca fan. I can't remember the post, man, but this guy was saying that he was watching, you know, Juventus ball. Guys, Spaletti, absolute insane, underrated manager, has transformed my club after, you know, for me, we're watching the past few coaches that we've had in the past few years. Every single year, every 6 months, getting a new coach. That's horrible for a team. Spaletti turned his team around after like 6 months, and you know what? I think the players definitely enjoy a coach. Well, you know, when the players want to play for, you know, your gaff, guys, that's like half the battle right there. Play for the badge, that's already half the battle. Love to see that. They have a lot of passion when they go on the pitch. They start crying when they lose. That's what we've been missing from the club, man. I've not seen players like that as emotional. It's like the days of like Del Piero and stuff, man. Those guys would play for the badge. A tie was a loss, and that's how I grew up watching my team, man. So I definitely like to see that, you know, back in the culture of my team. So Lewandowski, I think, you know, as a striker, I think Juve are missing a striker, man. Obviously, he's 37, 38 years old. Juve have 4 strikers, okay? Jonathan David came in on the free transfer. Only thing we had to pay him was his wages, and I think like his, you know, management, whatever. That's the only thing we had to pay. We brought in Openda, guys. We brought in Openda, coming off a pretty solid season from, you know, Leipzig, 20 plus GA as a striker in the UCL, all comps, man, Bundesliga, whatever. Super good, really good player. We have Vlahovic coming off a horrible season again. This guy's being told he's gonna leave the club, whatever. We brought in 2 strikers. We have Milik as well, who was injured for 2 years, and now he's injured again. But guys, after the months of them being on the team, these guys don't even have 20 GA put together. Dusan Vlahovic was our top goal scorer. He was injured for like, I think for 4 or 5 months. These 2 strikers, these guys did not step up. Horrible, bro. These guys have less GA than Vlahovic for like 4 or 5 months. I think Jonathan David turned it around into the new year. That's all I want, bro. All I want is a striker that can score. I think it's the one thing Juve are missing, and Lewandowski could be that guy. Even if he's the guy that replaces Milik, I don't mind him being like a second, third string striker. That's probably what, you know, a team like Juve even need. Just leadership on the team. A guy, you put him in the middle, he will score a goal. You put him in the box. You, like, you know, Serie A is a very slow defensive league. Most of the time you guys watch, you guys will see, you know, in the games, 2-1, 1-0, 0-0, maybe 3 goals. Maybe you see 3 goals. Most of the time I see Juventus, probably one of our best seasons where we're scoring more than 3 goals a game. I haven't seen Juve score like that in a long time. Definitely think Lewandowski, you put him in the box, we would score more goals if these guys weren't allergic from the ball. I don't know what's going on with my strikers. Most of the time it's like, you know, McKennie stepping up, Thuram stepping up, even our center backs like Bremer, Kalulu stepping up, scoring goals. So I definitely like to see that. Even players like Yildiz, who, you know, is 20 years old, cooking for our team, absolute star boy, but we'll get into that later. So Lewandowski, I think, coming to Juventus on a free transfer, I definitely think the wages will be lower. Guys, even Leo Goretzka, guys, I think for me, the midfield for Juventus is pretty decent. If you ask me, if we didn't change anyone in the midfield, I would be happy. I love McKennie, Locatelli having an absolute insane season, one of the best DMs in the world. I think, you guys, I think for me, it's Italian. No one even rates Locatelli, man. It's one of the best midfields I've ever seen in my life. Guys, I look at Locatelli, this guy has changed his career around in like a season. I've like under Spaletti, he's one of the best DMs, one of the best eights I have ever seen in my life. But because he's Italian, because he plays for Juve, he's not playing the Premier League, he's not English. No one bats an eye on him, bro. He doesn't have the PR, which I wish he did have. But players also like Thuram, who was brought in at Juventus last season. First off, brought in last season as a rotation player. We had Douglas Luiz, we had Coop Miners, whatever. That guy was just brought in as rotation. His father played for Juventus. Obviously, some of you guys know Thuram used to play defense for us, you know, back in the day. But now he's playing. Obviously, I love to see that, bro. When the players, you know, their sons are playing, you know, absolute legends as well. So definitely like Thuram, and he's been an absolute beast, bro. He's been an absolute beast for us. So I love him as well, man. So his build-up plays really crazy. Him attacking is absolutely insane. Defensively, he's insane. So for me, I love Thuram. I think our midfield's fine. Even McKennie, one of the best, you know, midfielders in the Serie A as well. You guys can say McTominay, you guys say Modric, you guys say a lot of these guys, man. Barella, you know, whatever. Guys, McKennie for me, bro. He has 15, 16 GA, all competitions. Best season he's ever had at the club as well. So for me, McKennie, even on a team who plays every single position, you know, well. Defense, midfield, attack, left or right side, does not matter. The only position this guy has not played is goalkeeper. I'm not even kidding. One of the best players I've seen on my club in a while, man. I'm not going to lie. So we're a really good player as well. So I think our midfield's really good, but I think if you bring him in over, like, you know, maybe we get rid of Moretti, you know, he's a youth player who we never got rid of. We got rid of, you know, Fagioli over him. Unfortunately, I kind of wish, you know, Moretti didn't really pan out. It sucks, but you know what, man, young Italian talent like that, if you want even a chance, you know, a sniff at the national team, this guy has to start playing, you know, regularly, bro. He's been playing maybe like a lower Serie A team, maybe make a move to like League One, you know, maybe Premier League, La Liga, wherever. I think it's probably best for him. Also, players like Coop Miners, who was brought in 2 years ago from Atalanta, had a really good season there as well. Atalanta, super crazy player under Gasparini. Went to Juve. 3 coaches cannot get the best out of this guy, man. He's come out and said, like, you know, he's a feel best at cam behind, and he's a play best at the 10. He's a play best behind the striker. So for me, if you put this guy at like left center back, that's what Spalletti's been doing. He used to play like that back in the day in the Netherlands. Apparently, I didn't even know that. Plays D, he plays D, plays the 8, plays a 6, plays wherever in the midfield. This guy is stinky, bro. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened to him. Had a horrible 2 years at Juventus. I think it's time for him to go. So if we bring in Goretzka, some leadership, solid, you know, strong midfielder with, you know, the likes of McKennie, you know, also have Thuram, Locatelli, even, you know, there's always a dream of like maybe we'll get into it later as well. Tonali, I wish, but you know what? On a free transfer, Goretzka's fine. Guys, another player I want to bring in, man, Bernardo Silva, also linked. He's gonna leave City, bro. We all know. Everyone knows he's leaving City. Free transfer. Juve would be a perfect spot for him, bro. I think for me, Juve need a 10. They need a 10 behind the striker, 110%. If you guys watch Juventus, bro, we have no build-up play in the midfield. No one distributes the ball from behind the striker. No one can through ball to the striker ever. I'm not kidding. It's always spam the ball to the wing like Ozisao, or give it to Yildiz and an inshallah ball, bro. I'm not kidding. So for me, we have a player like Bernardo Silva who can control the midfield and ping the ball, striker, wing, whatever, some build-up. I would love to see that. Guys, as well, Alisson. For me, I love Di Gregorio, guys. If you guys watch Serie A, you guys know Di Gregorio was one of the best keepers in the league at Monza, a lower tier team, and he was one of the best goalkeepers. Came to Juventus, he was pretty solid the first year. Guys, this season, I don't know what's happened. For me, I think one of his biggest flaws is that he's too short, bro. He's 6'1", 6'2", and you will see on penalties, he goes the right way, too short. People finesse top ins, this guy can never get the ball. He's very solid, I think, you know, with his feet, which I do like. You guys, you know, if you guys are like, you know, Manchester City fans, you guys will see, you know, Ederson. When Ederson was at City, one of the best players on the ball as a goalie. You know, for me, Di Gregorio was not too bad, but now all of a sudden, I don't know what's going on. He was having stinkers. He was being benched for like a month. We had to put in Perin. Some of you guys don't even know who Perin is. That guy is too good to be a backup. He's not good enough to be the starter, if that makes sense for a goalie, man. Like, Perin's not bad. That guy's going to leave Juventus as well, man. So now we're not going to have a goalie. Alisson coming in, first off, played at Roma. Like, I think he was like 8 years ago. 2017, that Roma squad, absolute insane team. Guys, he also played, some of you guys might not even know, Spalletti coached that Roma team. A lot of those players from Roma under Spalletti were absolute beasts. And they all left, obviously, like Mo Salah, Rudiger, Alisson. So, and Alisson was the backup to Szczesny. I forgot about that. This guy was a backup to Szczesny, which is absolutely insane. So for me, if we brought in Alisson, you know, experienced keeper, plays at a national team level, absolute insane player at Liverpool, one of the best players there. Obviously, he's kind of slowed down a little bit. The Premier League is the best league in the world. So for me, these players that slow down the Premier League, not the best and the best anymore. Obviously, going into, you know, like a lower tier team that's maybe in La Liga or lower league. Sorry, going to big teams like, you know, maybe like Madrid, Barca, Serie A, you go to like Inter, AC Milan, Napoli, Juve, right? I think Alisson going back to the Serie A, he knows the coach, he knows the league. What's wrong with that? He's going to the biggest team in Italy. I think that's probably for me a really, really big move, and we can cash in on Di Gregorio hopefully. So for me, another great move, guys. Also, Darwin Nunez. I doubt this happens. He's been playing in Saudi for like a year, guys. That guy's had stinkers. He was, pretty solid at Benfica. His second year is always best at a team every single time. Benfica, first year horrible, second year good. Made that money move to Liverpool. First year Liverpool, Garbaggio. Second year pretty solid, and he still went to Saudi, man. So guys, he got his money, went to Saudi. I doubt it happens for me. The number nine for me. I wouldn't put Darwin. Would he fit Juve? Probably. Our strikers aren't the best. I'm not picky when it comes to strikers, man, but I just doubt it happens in my opinion. I just don't think the move will work. But I think Juve just have their eyes on other players. If they have to make like a panic buy like they did with Openda, maybe Darwin comes. If it comes to that, man. Other than that, I think Juve might go after other players. Next, we have Kim Min-jae, another player that played under Spaletti over on Napoli a couple years ago. Made a move to Bayern. Still a crazy center back. Obviously, Bayern into the UCL. He's a pretty solid player as well, man. So I think for me, like Kim Min-jae made a name for himself at Napoli under Spalletti. Crazy run. They won a Scudetto in Serie A. So I think for me, like Kim Min-jae coming to Juventus, I wouldn't mind the move. He knows the coach again, so he's a really, really solid defensive center back. I think for me, he's gonna be an absolute gem at Juve. Beside Bremer, who I'm also looking at, man. Like I want to see these guys partnered up with Bremer, who's already an absolute beast at Juventus, man. So another move there, Calafiori, guys. I doubt this happens. Maybe if Arsenal bottle everything, I'm not too sure. If Arsenal bottle absolutely everything after I was hearing, quadruple. Now they're, I don't know what's going on, man. Now they only have 2 trophies left. The league's not looking too good. They just lost to City. I don't know how it's gonna happen after this video. I have no idea. So maybe Calafiori, who gets, he gets yelled at a lot by the fans, I think. I think a lot of fans don't like him too much. Obviously, having to be better than Gabriel and be better than Saliba is not going to be an easy task. I think he's better as a fullback than he is as a center half, but that's just me. I think Calafiori, obviously, I wanted him at Juventus when we got Motta, when he was under Motta at Bologna. That would have been the best move, in my opinion. Keeping Italian talent in Serie A is probably the best for us as well, for the national team level, for club level, whatever. I think for me, Calafiori at Juventus, that's like another dream player I would love to have. I would love Calafiori, man. So again, that list, I think most of them, they could come. I think Juve will abuse the free transfer market 100%. Another center back I was seeing a little bit, bro, guys. By the way, this reporter here, Nico Shadea, guys, a little bit more respected. I think a lot of players, I see the transfers as well. I see the transfers on the internet, Twitter, maybe Instagram, maybe TikTok. I don't know, wherever, guys. Nico Shadea, a little bit more respected in the game. I think for me, when I see his word over like people like Gazzetta, no one really takes Gazzetta seriously. They were making up stuff all the time. I swear, man, they always make things up. But I think Nico Shadea, for me, makes a lot of the good moves. They come true. So looking at Baidu over at the Lens, man, this guy is, compared to Rafa Varane, obviously, a French legend for Madrid, also went to United and stuff like that, went to Como and then retired, whatever. But absolute insane, if that's true, even if he plays like that, that'll be absolutely amazing. Another, bolster and defensive. Love that. I think a young player like him, up and coming, I think Juve make mistakes of selling young players too early. Sule, Fagioli, we got rid of even Huijsen. That was a horrible one. Huijsen is like a player that we definitely needed for the longest time. I mean, we got rid of him for Lloyd Kelly, so I didn't want to get into that one. But again, Baidu would be an absolute insane move for me. I think 22 years old. League One, not the best league. I think a lot of the up and coming players come from this league for sure, but it's only a few of them. Some of them are absolutely insane, players like Dembele, Kvara. A lot of these guys play at PSG. Even some, even like Endrick could go there from Lyon, at Lyon, and Cook. Absolutely insane players. Not all of them are like that, but you know what? You can take your chances. He's 22 years old. You can develop him and be an absolute beast. When these guys are like in their late 20s. It's hard for that to be, a little bit better. But you know what? I think for me, I would take the gamble on this guy. Looks like an absolute beast. If that does happen, I wouldn't be mad. Guys, like I was saying about Tonali, man, guys, I think this would be an absolute insane move. But if this move ever happened, bro, I think there'd be a lot of movement in Juventus, man. A lot of players might leave. So I'm not too sure if Juve will want to break the bank on a center mid. I mean, Tonali, obviously an AC Milan player. This guy was linked to Juventus, like, I think 7 years ago when he was at Brescia before he went to AC Milan. Obviously left AC, went to Newcastle, W money move. AC Milan fans might hate this guy after because he did leave, and then I don't know, he comes to Juventus. A lot of the time this happens, and there's a lot of beef, man. This happened with Higuain from Napoli to Juventus. It happens a lot, man. Even players like Ibra, who went to Inter, Vieira went to Inter from Juventus, and it happens, man. But he played for different teams. But I don't know, man. I don't think, Tonali at Juve would be a horrible purchase for me. Like him, imagine a midfield of Locatelli, Thuram, and Tonali, bro. That would be an absolute insane midfield. Probably one of the best midfields that Juve have had in a long, long time, since like Pogba, Vidal, and the Pirlo days. That was like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So if it happens, I would love it. If not, I mean, there's obviously our midfield's pretty decent, like I've said before. But again, it's like a dream purchase, I think. But a lot of movement would be happening. I think Locatelli would probably leave. Maybe McKennie leaves. You know, Maretti, obviously, they would have to sell a lot of players, even like swap deals. We still have Douglas Luiz. That can still happen. Douglas Luiz out, give him to Newcastle with plus money. So I don't even know how much money they would want to put in. They're saying 90 mil. And when it comes to players like the big teams, like even Arsenal interested, you know, United, Juventus, the big names, guys, they add a little bit of a tax. Everyone knows this, bro. There's a United tax, you know, City out tax, whatever. What do you want to do? Tax the players so they don't leave. And the players really want them. They get an absolute insane, you know, purchase there. It's like insane. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I would love Tonali at the club. If it doesn't happen, sucks, man. But I would love it, though. It would be an absolute, you know, insane player to have in the team. Guys, I also put here Foot Mob. Guys, we can build a club. I think it would be a really fun idea to do this, bro. So I put in the 4-2-3-1 already preloaded because this is a formation I think Juve were looking to get in as well. So for me, man, at the 9, I think Juve are looking at players like Kolo Muani, who I think is definitely going to be an absolute crazy player. Again, he was already playing at Juve. Would be an absolute insane player to bring back because he was already at loan at, you know, at Spurs. You know, PSG didn't really want to get the deal done at Juventus, which kind of sucks, man, because they gave a dry loan to Spurs anyway, and now they're absolutely cooked. That team's getting relegated. I don't care what anyone says. I think Spurs get relegated. You can come back to this video and tell me again in the comments. I'm telling you, the guy's gone. So at the 9, Kolo Muani's fine. I think on the left side, obviously, it's going to be Yildiz, bro. Yildiz is our star boy, bro. So putting Yildiz there, obviously, even in the Club World Cup, Kolo Muani and Yildiz were cooking, man. And then obviously Kolo Muani went to Spurs. That'll be an absolute insane player to bring back to the team. When it comes to the 10 spot, guys, again, bro, I'm going to say Bernardo Silva. That's going to be an absolute insane player to bring to Juventus again behind the 9. Another good player, I think. You know, distributing the ball, like I said before, man. We just need a player like that, you know, to ping the ball to the left. Just someone to build up play outside of 18. Juve never do that, bro. They always look to like maybe chip the ball in the box. Like no one ever has, you know, like cojones to shoot from outside the 18. It's always in the box. Maybe like a tap in or like maybe a cross, something like that. It's most of the time when we score. So that would be nice to have someone like that. On the right side, it's still going to be Conceição, man. I think Conceição, again, I think Juve wanted to get rid of him, but he's too expensive, or even make him like a substitute, but he's too expensive for us, you know, to just be a sub. He's going to want to leave, man. So I think for me, we give him another chance. He did okay. Obviously, his goals, he scored absolute insane goals for Juventus, but he doesn't really do too much. A lot of assists don't really come from him, goals as well. But when he does, they're absolutely insane, you know, passes or insane goals. So I mean, we could obviously give him another chance. So I definitely love that. In the midfield again, man, obviously we're gonna have players like Thuram. I think he's going to be a huge player, but you know what, man? I don't know if he's going to be starting or they might be using him as like a rotate. Him and Locatelli will probably play on that side. I'll put Goretzka here just for reference, who I think will be playing, you know, coming in for Juventus in the midfield. So right away, we see the 6 players in, guys. Pretty decent already. An absolute insane boost, who I think Juve will be getting. Left back, guys. Again, this guy was told that he was going to leave a bunch of times. So it's going to be Cambiasso. Again, Cambiasso, you know, still staying at Juventus. I heard that sometime, you know, there was rumors about him leaving. If he does leave, an offer comes, it's a big, you know, it's a big purchase. You know, he leaves, Juve buy in, you know, Udogie from Spurs. Another Spurs player, man. A lot of good talent from that club. Obviously, they're in the rough right now. But, you know, Udogie used to play at Udinese, went to Spurs, who I think, you know, probably not the best move for him. I think him in the City was absolutely insane. So for me, like, even either him or Cambiasso in there would be absolutely insane. Again, Rudiger, another player that I think, you know, could be nice for Juventus. It only happens if Juventus, you know, can get the signature from this guy. He might re-sign with Madrid, but it also depends on Arbeloa if he still stays at Madrid, which I doubt even happens. I heard Mourinho might go and stuff like that. So even Rudiger coming in beside Bremer here would be huge for Juventus. An absolute boost, by the way. That's insane. Rudiger, Bremer in the back line as well, Cambiasso on the left. And when it comes to the fullbacks, guys, like again, I think for me, Kulu is going to be like a rotation player. That guy has played every single minute of the season, by the way, 90 minutes every single week. And then when we were playing in the UCL, 180 minutes, even if we played extra time, that guy never got subbed off. This guy's played the most minutes at the club. So I think for me, another player that I did see that I do want to bring to Juventus was Kayode. This guy used to play for Juventus in like his youth days, I believe. Sold to Fiorentina. Fiorentina sold him to Brentford. Now, if we bring him back to the club, probably one of the better right backs in the, you know, for our talents. I think him, Palestra, stuff like, you know, players like that. I would say Di Lorenzo, but that guy's a little bit older now, not as good. So I think Kayode probably the more up and coming player for, you know, Italians, for Italian football. So for me, I would love to bring him into the team. And obviously the goal spot, obviously we're going to put Alisson here. I think for me, he's probably the best, you know, goalie for us our best option, I think. I didn't see, you know, De Gea. Too old, I think. Even at Fiorentina, not the best player either. I think Alisson would be nice. Di Gregorio could still stay. But, guys, if it's based off the transfer rumors, this is what I think Juventus would be looking like, guys. Let me know down below what you guys are thinking about Juve. You know, a lot of you guys might not even remember Juve being this absolute insane squad. You know, they were dominating football, you know, in the Serie A, Italian football, and an NUCL. Again, we never won a UCL in the past, like, 20 years, man. But we made the finals. Guys, we were just a little piece away. We're so close, man. So, hopefully, you know, maybe these transfers can maybe bring, you know, the old lady back again. I love you guys. Maybe you guys did enjoy the video. Drop a thumbs up, subscribe. If you guys have maybe another team you guys want me to do this with, I would love to do it. Drop down below in the comments. I love you guys. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace later.